Alright. Alright. Well, the game is Osmos. It's a good one. It's really good. Go play it. It's an older-ish game. Older-ish. I want to say like 2010 or something? Osmos game. Oh 09. I was so close. August 09. From Hemisphere Games. This is a wonderful soundtrack that matches the gameplay perfectly. So good. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Or I guess good evening for maybe John Alexander, and less for Evan Roberts. I actually don't know where you both are from. I'm drawing conclusions from your names alone. Evan Roberts sounds pretty firmly American, but could be not. It's possible. About me. Where are you at, Evan? Does it say? Syracuse? Still there? Who knows? Yuso, Cleveland, Ohio. There you go. Nailed it. That's an American name right there. So American. All right. Well, who we got in here? We got New Flows. Hello. Clockwork GM. Natasha J. There's a good morning right there. Good morning. Chris Bollinger rolling in. April Fool's Child. Red Galen. Jean Alexander, are you actually a first-time viewer? There's no way, right? I feel like I know your name from somewhere before. These tunes are real spacey. I thought for sure I'd seen it before. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Papa Need, Sam, Houselander, Josh Adam Bell, Yuso, Tolonen? Is that your last name? It's Tolonen, right? A firmly Finnish name. J Gap, John Gap, what up? Addy Kelch, yo. Brandon Clark, yo. Some good folks, yo. We're chatting on Twitter. That'd do it. Of course. Yeah, it's always, you know, you get to know folks' names from various places. Naturally. Twitter's helpful. Helpful for that kind of thing, for sure. And you applied. Yeah, I did see you applied, actually. And this is a unique stream. Because I think Evan applied too. I'm not sure. I think Evan applied. I actually know for a fact that a lot of people in the chat applied. There's a good number of you. So it's we are making our way through the applications, as of course, yes, this is no longer actively up right now. So we're getting there, and we'll be getting in touch, as it says, with candidates in the coming weeks. Yes, the sooner the better, because as I've said on this stream again and again, companies and people hire because they need help. So getting help earlier than otherwise is generally a better plan. Oh, Clockwork GM is Evan. I don't know that I knew that. I've seen you in the chat forever, but I don't think I knew that that was the same person. So good to know. Now I know. Thank you for letting me know. And Harleen Singh as well. Good to see you as well. It's another name. It says first time chat. There's no way. I know the name Harleen Singh. What the heck? I'm confused. Oh, I guess you're being... Okay, so we're looking at Harleen Singh's stuff in 2 weeks. That's why I know your name. That would do it. All right, thank you everyone for tagging along as I try and catch up with my own show here. Hi, good day. We're doing Real Talk today. We're looking at some demo reel content from some up-and-comers, namely Evan Roberts here. And Jean Alexander Nevskiy. Is it Nevskiy? I hope that was close. And we were looking at things from a few different angles. Looking at it from an angle of presentation, material selection, content quality, and distinction. So for the presentation, we're looking at the site on the whole, what is here to see, if it's easy to find things, if there's too many things to find, or not enough. Just general navigation stuff. And for the demo reel, how long is the thing? I assume yes, it says right there, demo reel. How long is it? What's the flow like? What's the titling like? Are the splashes front and back, and are they awesome? They get us hyped to watch the thing, etc. For material selection, we're looking at the pieces selected for the demo reel and appearing in the portfolio, if there is a portfolio, and what those pieces might suggest beyond how good they sound, how good this person is at their job, what it suggests about current skill sets and past work history and future ambitions, as that goes a long way to inform a team like ourselves if this person will have any interest in the kind of stuff we work on, right? If you have a team that does exclusively sci-fi content and you throw them a demo reel that is all fantasy content, it might sound awesome, but you might lose out against somebody else who had an all sci-fi content reel because they just indicated that that's where their brain's at, and there's going to be a better immediate interface with that team, you know? And it's not because you're a bad sound designer, it's because they have simply communicated something in a certain way that indicates beyond their skill level, this person might be a good fit. And like, I mean, imagine your whole demo reel is like casino games. It might be that you could kick some ass on a sci-fi project, who knows? But like, it's hard to draw that conclusion that A, you can do it, and B, you will want to do it. And this is something that interests you if your demo reel doesn't communicate that. And the third thing, content quality, just that's the is it good part. Just, is your work good? Is it living up to that industry standard of awesome? And if there is room to improve, I will be happy to tell you my opinions. And I know a lot of the folks in chat are very accomplished and capable as well. We'll be happy to share theirs. And finally, distinction. Just, are you standing out in some positive way? I've been talking to the team over here a little bit about how much we want to share about the application process. Because given that we are already, I mean, you're all here right now, you know we're pretty damn transparent regarding the kind of qualities we look for in a potential candidate. I mean, the qualities that we say the industry probably looks for in a potential candidate, but you can easily, draw the conclusion this is us in a big way too, obviously. So, yeah, it's been interesting. It has certainly been very interesting seeing the breadth of cover letters and resumes and demo reels and even just what the linked content is. I mean, we got some really across the board stuff. I mean, we got, I can be a little vague for the time being, I think, but maybe we'll share more in the future when we've gone through the entire process. But it's funny because on the job posting, as I'm sure some of you in the chat are well aware, we linked to the GDC talk that myself and Matthew Martinson of Clay Entertainment here in Vancouver did back in 2018 GDC about Reel Talk, and it was like a breakdown of all the common issues that we come across in Reels and how to craft your reel in a way that will effectively communicate your qualities and hopefully increase your chances of getting a gig. That's the whole point of this entire show, right? And we put on the job posting for clarity on what we might look for in a reel. Watch this, and then it's like a cheat sheet. Like this is just do this to increase your odds, and a whole lot of people just clearly expressly ignored it, and it's like, well, you're wasting your time. It's too bad. In terms of like the please link to your demo reel thing, I mean that link we provided is like, it gives a very clear indication of what you might want to be linking to, like a YouTube video or a website or Vimeo or whatever, right? And we got links to Spotify and to SoundCloud and to Audio Jungle was one of them. We had a couple links to IMDb. It was across the board. It's crazy. So, and just some links to Drive, like Google Drive folders or Dropbox folders, is full of stuff like text documents and MP3s and stuff. And again, it's entirely possible these people are good at their jobs. I mean, if you have an IMDb page, you're probably at least doing it, right? You're in the industry in some way. But yeah, it was just very interesting how a lot of folks were not really, not too interested in following some directions of sorts that were laid out. So be it. We do have some really awesome candidates, and I am stoked to be getting a bit deeper into the process here. We, as I said, will be getting in touch with folks in the coming weeks. So there you go. Anyways, enough tangent about job application stuff. I was talking about content quality and distinction, wasn't I? Yeah, distinction. The reason that segue happened is because we got a lot of applications. There's a bunch. And you got to stand out in some positive way, right? Otherwise, there's just no way. I guarantee, just naturally, there are a lot of folks that we looked at, or I'll speak for myself, that I have looked at as far as the people that have applied, and there's just nothing standing out. It's like very flat, and it's like, well, that's too bad, because there might be something here that is great, but it's the way it's being presented, or the way that they are crafting their demo or whatever is just making it such that it's kind of blending into the background. Things like one common thing we came across, not just during the application process, but just on this show and just throughout my career, it's you see. One thing that Matt mentioned in the GDC talk was like that Need for Speed Shift 2 Unleashed. Is that what it is? It was a trailer, a waves competition, where the car is like kind of like tumbling in slow motion and the camera's like flying through the debris and stuff as it's happening. And people redesigned that for that waves thing back in 2011. And I think that video as a redesign is still part of Vancouver Film School's curriculum. So I've seen this thing like dozens and dozens of times, and I can't recall any of them. And Matt did the same thing in that GDC talk. It's like they call it this specific thing, like don't put it in there. It's like, well, and then you see it and you're like, well, oh, there you go. It was in 2017. What, to roast it? Roast what? Did I miss this entirely? The waves thing? I think it was 2011, if you're talking about the thing I was talking about, unless I missed it entirely. I apologize if so. But anyways, enough. We will, we'll talk more about, I think we'll probably share a bit more about the process later on. If not on this show, then on Twitter or something, who knows. There you go. The need for, okay, there you go. So SD83, it's still in use. Yeah, there you go. It's kind of, I mean, I don't want to drag on. What's the phrase? I don't want to criticize Vancouver Film School for using the same thing in their curriculum over and over again, because the fact is, it is an interesting piece to design, because it's not like you're not cutting footsteps and stuff, right? It's all very blank canvas, so it makes sense as a piece to use in an educational capacity. But with that piece, and with any other piece that is part of a curriculum, I mean, there are things we see the Cube demos on Real Talk all the time, or we see, various things like that Unity demo with the zombies and elephants and stuff. It's not that they will detract from your demo reel or make you less hireable. It's that they will just fail to stand out. That's the issue. So there are a lot of positives to putting things like the Viking Village Unity plus Fmod thing that you made into your demo reel. Totally, a lot of positives. Just realize that there is somebody else out there who is making their own level in Unreal and putting their own sounds into the level they made. And that is going to be more standout than Viking Village. It's not saying you have to do that, just realize that is what you might be up against when you put up things like that. So you think, well, is there any way I can plus this more, and just add as many pluses as you can to your work? And the more pluses there are, the higher your odds will be to get hired. There you go, right? It stands to reason. Makes sense. So, anyway, I hope that doesn't sound like a rant, because I assure you it's not. There are a lot of pieces that are, I mean, yeah, there are times where I see a piece that I've seen before, as far as the source material, and it sounds great. like there was one cube redesign that I saw in this process so far that I was like, this might be the best cube redesign I've ever seen. It's like, so that alone is like pretty impressive, right? Because cube is hard to make sound good. But yeah, it's just it's challenging as well, you know. Just be aware. Okay. Cube is dead, Josh. Cube is dead. Long live Wise adventure game. Yeah, it's true. I'm seeing a lot more of that. A lot more these days. You're correct. Okay, let's pause Osmos. Whoa, look at this timing. Not bad. I did not plan this at all. Like 10 seconds short of the end of the soundtrack. Let's get started. All right. So who first? Who was in the chat first? Clockwork was by a nose, followed directly by John Alexander. So let's do this. Evan Roberts. Okay, we got we're at evanrobertsaudio.com. I'll link in the chat if you want to check it out for yourself. There you go. All right. Cube implementation is so smooth it becomes a sphere. The game's just called Sphere at that point. Exactly. You got it. Okay, we got Evan Roberts Audio, sound design, audio editing, and voice acting. And Evan, I'm going to act like I've never seen this before, okay? Because I have seen this, of course. I've seen this one too. And we're going to go in, and I'm going to just do my best to pretend to roll in blind and give you a gist of my first impression. It is unique, of course, this week because you did apply for the role, and I don't want to be like, you know, you're going to get it or you're not going to get it, right? So we're just going to go in, just act like who knew you applied? No one knew. Let's skip this for a second. Sound design demo reel. We got gameplay redesigns, Hunt, Showdown, Infamous Second Son, Ghost Runner, and Drakengard. Drakengard. I don't know that. About me. We saw him already. I've been involved with music and sound since I was 6. When I took up playing the viola. It's unique. Since then, I've been in orchestras, bands, radio stations, podcasts, and just about everything to do with sound. For me, sound design is like a puzzle. It's just waiting to be solved. I'm inclined to agree. I worked on several projects before settling into video game sound design, where I'm working to get a job in a AAA or III studio. That might be the first time I've seen someone say III in a bio. It's always like a tongue-in-cheek phrase. Since then, I graduated from Syracuse University with a master's in audio arts in 2022. Congrats. And have been honing my skills with game redesigns, Wise integration projects, and Unreal 5 practice. When I'm not working on personal audio and game projects, I'm hanging out with friends on Discord, gaming, or preparing the weekly tabletop RPG that I run. Nice. Shoot me an email or message me on Twitter if you have any questions or just want to shoot the breeze. Got it. Currently playing Video Horror Society. I don't know it. Playtest apparently. Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous. Hunt, Showdown. You know, it's funny you say like playtest. Is this something you're working on right now, Evan? Because people ask me, you know, it comes up in conversation, certainly in my circles, like, what are you playing right now? And I'm like, you know, back in March, Tunic. Like, all I'm playing is Tunic and nothing else. I don't know. I always feel weird naming things, like saying I'm playing things I'm working on. But it's true. Like, I was enjoying it too. So there's that. I closed beta. Oh, okay, well, that's different. No one's paying you. You're just hanging out. Red Galen says, when I was doing shader programming in school, we had to do a morph between two models. And the teacher was like, don't use the example dolphin models. So I took a bunch of time modeling car and boat models to morph between. Turns out Maya scrambled the model data and broke the morph, so I ended up using the example dolphins anyways, just like most of my class. Also sad. So sad. But you probably learned a lot by not doing it that way, right? Like you may have not been able to show the work you did, but you probably got a lot from doing that. So no sweat. Favorite games. Infamous Second Son, Ori, and The Will of the Wisps. And whatever, no, come on now, whatever I'm playing, every game you're playing is not your favorite, Evan. Give it a rest. No way. I don't believe it. Other sound. I played some rough games. I've played some rough ones. Voice acting, animation in games, corporate videos, long-form radio shows, live broadcasting. All right. I don't think I saw this when I saw your page before, so there you go. Contact. Let's Talk. Good track by F84. Very nice. The sound of your story. Evan Robertson. Oh, that's like your tagline? It's not here, though. Excuse me. This feels like it's kind of a cool thing to add as your brand, but it's only here. Am I wrong? Your favorites shift constantly. Well, you have access to your website's source. Just switch it up constantly. No sweat. Resume. Okay, sure. Got it. Moving on. Home. Let's have a look. I'm going to turn up Chrome. Make sure we're all good. And turn off my sidechain. There you go. Let's watch a reel, shall we? Whoa. Okay. Sudden. That surprised me again. It was probably the last time too. Let's go. It's starting. All right. Oh, I see. It was like a reel. It's a reel at the end. Cute. Okay. Seems like you have the slightest sense of humor. I get it. Thank you. Cool reel. Very fun. This intro is new. I did recall this. As soon as it began, the whole like whispering thing is really funny. It's cute. It's unique. It's starting. Cute. All right. So, what do we think of the presentation? It's a minute even. Stoked. Awesome. Benjamin's Prime. What's up, pal? Good to see you. Also, Shigans. Yo. Welcome. We have a minute long, and there's what, like 4 pieces in here? There's Second Son into... It's pretty long, actually. Like 25 seconds. Like 20-ish. I guess this thing starts at like 5. 20 seconds, and then into Drakengard. Right. It's a redesign. I don't know this game at all. And this is a bit shorter. It's like 8 seconds or something? 10 seconds less? 25 to... Yeah, it's like 8 seconds. And then Ghost Runner. And we have, what is this, 32 it starts? 32 or so, 33. Up until, what, 43, 45, like 10 seconds or so, 12 seconds. And then this to the end? Yeah. Okay, so the first clip is definitely it's pear-shaped, right? Like we have a lot up front. That's 8 seconds is actually pretty long for the start, but it's kind of cute though, so I still held my attention at the front. I wasn't like, what's happening? I was leaning in. So you did have me wanting to hear more, but it wasn't because it sounded good. It was because it was just unique in its presentation, which is still valid. It's cool. And not to say it sounds bad. I'm just saying that it's the quality of the game sound design is not what made me want to keep watching in the first 10 seconds, right? That's fair to say. So the intro being kind of longish, the first clip, it's almost half the video. I think we won't get into sound design stuff too much here, but I think the nature of the narrative in this clip is that the back half of it, like falling, nothing's really happening, you know? you know, we have this. It's like for 16 seconds up until the hit. It's like 8 seconds of burn. So we'll get back to that in a second, but realize that is a bit of a there's a dearth in attention grabbing, you know? With sound design reels, the ones that tend to be the most effective are the ones that skillfully guide the viewer / listener's attention over time. And this one, when you have kind of an unchanging element for a period of time, there's a small risk of the viewer saying, well, out loud or not, but even just feeling, okay, get on with it. You know, what's next? Let's go. So be aware of that. It's not, this is a boring moment, but it's just unchanging, right? Just titling wise though, we have a bunch of all caps. This, I find this a bit challenging to look at. You know, it's a lot. This is also, let's get back to this too for a second. This page is a little bit crazy, Evan. You have like these rounded corners. We have this font, which is different than the one up front, up top, I believe, right? Different, or is it? Yeah, different A. A different font, A and A. And then we have, this is Arial, I think, or Calibri or something. And then we have your main demo reel, which has this thing, which is brand new, this like kind of golden chunk with the different text. I like the animatic, it's cool. It just doesn't match anything else, right? So it's kind of out of left field. And going to the pages, at least they have the same at the top here, that's good. But the like here also is now different. And like we have the purple now. It's just, I think that in general, design-wise, I know we always say this isn't like a web design broadcast or anything, but I think that you could probably use a bit of focus, like get some design pals to roll in and help you just kind of pare it down as far as like number of fonts and color scheme and just various things like that. Because it's when you have like a lot of different things, it's kind of, it's like this spectrum with the sweet spot being like, oh yeah, like really strong identity. And on this side, it's too neutral, like the whole thing's brown or whatever, the whole thing's gray. And on this side, it's like everything's crazy. It's all different. So there's a balance to be struck there, I think. And I think maybe it's not brutal. I've seen some insane, wild pages where you're like, oh my god, this is hurting my eyes right now. But this is, I think, just it wanders a little bit off the focus, you know. But for this intro, it's cool in terms of its design and structure and stuff. It's starting. Nice little bloom kind of transition here. Very nice. But this card here, it's like really demanding attention-wise. I think you probably have a little more, weighting in the headings versus the content or whatever, you know. There's room for that. And then same thing goes for these titles, being all caps, all caps, all caps. It's a lot. And what it does is it makes it a little more challenging, potentially, for people to glance down and see what it is and glance back at your work again. Because this should be as quick glance friendly as possible, if that makes sense. You know, help just see it and move on. Louis says, maybe leave that info card to the end. Yeah, it's not a bad idea, honestly. We have oh, hello. This is just like, no. There we go. Yeah, like if we have, no, I'll cover it up. None of this. And then, oh my god, come back. I shook my volume window. It was like, oh, all you want's this then. Hey, okay, got it. Gotcha. Yeah, maybe worthwhile. Just leave that until the end. As far as this goes, yeah, I have like just this easy to look at, this in a different font down below, like a less weighted font, maybe with correct casing, whatever. There's various options. Don't you dare make me open josh@bell.com. I'll do it. Moving on. Okay. Transition-wise, we have what? An impact and a fade. So there's no real deliberate kind of storytelling here as far as this clip into this clip. So we have a big blast and some debris into, we're now in the sky. So again, no negatives there, just not winning any points with an awesome transition. I did see one reel where there was a transition where it was a shot from behind the person and they went, and they like kind of used the heel of their hand to like attack a guy. Maybe it was Iron Man or something like that. It was like some attack. And then they cut on this moment to the Witcher 3 cinematic where the protagonist in the same position and the guy's flying away. It's like the same camera shot. I'm like, that is so damn cool. This person found those two clips and there's like, here we go, and let's craft this thing and built around that. And if you're in the chat, nice work. But that kind of thing, it stands out in a big way. I was like, oh, yeah, awesome. So good. So just be aware when you get those nice transitions, like it stands out so much because no one does it. It's so rare, you know, so rare. Moving on. Okay, and then we have this Ghost Runner clip, which was a little bit crazy. Like this is, there's so much happening here. Like what is happening in these 2 seconds? It's crazy. We'll get to that. Transitions wise, they're all kind of just, it reads like Evan, like you just had some clips and went, okay, I think this is the strongest one, put it at the front, and then when next up this one, I like that one too, and maybe this one, and now this one. It seemed kind of just, here are some clips and they're on a timeline, and if it's a minute, which is good, but it doesn't seem particularly mindful as far as where you're transitioning or how. And that's, again, fine, just not a plus, that's all. And finally, the end is... See, now it's a different title again. Like this is, again, a different branding than the front, right? So that's what I'm talking about. The whole design focus thing helps to, like it this is not just a makes it look nice kind of piece of feedback. I think it's reasonable to draw certain conclusions from implicit elements in an application or on a website. So if I see a page that's like really concise and they're expressing their ideas and capabilities and such very clearly and effectively, then I can make certain assumptions. This person probably communicates well in person as well, you know? It makes sense. And the same thing goes for something like with design direction. If a design is really concise and has a strong identity, and the whole page and content and the feel of the brand, like my brother Dognet's saying in chat, if all that's really, really strongly defined, then that also speaks probably to this person's ability to latch on to an established creative direction for a project. This project says, you know what, we have these bounds within which to produce this thing, whether it's the audio or visuals or whatever, the whole creative direction of the project. And if this person's already indicated they can live inside that box and they're good to go, then yeah, it has certain, there are certain safe assumptions that can be made about that, about this person joining your team as well, right? So I think it's not to be overlooked. It can help a lot. All right, let's talk about, what time's here? 12:37, okay. Let's talk about some material selection briefly. Okay, so we have, first up, we have again, Second Sun. Next up, we have Draken Guard. We have Ghost Runner, and we have Hunt Showdown. Crytek, okay. Great. Down here are, oh, let's glance. How long is this? Is it the same clip? Right here. Okay, yeah, where's the end? Or how long is it? We run forwards and into the woods. And into the so it's a bit longer, I think. It's a little bit longer, but not much longer. This kind of thing here, Evan, kind of punishes the website browser, not the physical browser, the person who is doing the browsing. One who or that which browses. It hurts the browser because they're like, oh, I loved that Hunt Showdown redesign. What else you got, Evan? And I click this thing, and I'm greeted with, let's say this. Let's just go through the narrative of what might happen here. Yeah. So I watch your reel. I being some random person. I watch your reel. We watch the last 14 seconds ish. Sidechain. Last 14 seconds ish of this reel. And I'm like, man, this Hunt Showdown clip knocked my socks off. So cool. I want to see more of that. And I go, and I turn off full screen, and I scroll down. I'll zoom in a bit more. I scroll down, and I see Hunt Showdown. I'm like, oh, damn, there it is. Let's go. Full screen. And what you got? And it's the same thing we just saw moments ago, right? No one's clicking this first. The only reason anyone will click this is if they like the thing they just saw, right? So bear in mind, like if you have more content to look at, think of it as being supplementary. You know, you're assuming, you're making a very safe assumption. This person is looking at this at all because they liked what they already saw. And what they already saw is absolutely this video. 0 people will click this first. Unless you're like the developer of Hunt Showdown. Maybe they would do it first. It's possible. So this should be either the long form version. You know, we'll see something like there's 12 seconds of like a cinematic, some Warcraft, whatever cinematic in a demo reel, and like the full 2 minutes is in their portfolio. You watch the whole thing if you want. That makes sense because if someone's really into the Warcraft thing, they can go watch the whole thing, right? But the same thing over just again is actually actively hurting you because you have given this person something and you're pulling the rug out because what they think they're getting is more and they're getting the same thing. And now you are just wasting their time, you know? It's a real big risk to take. And the same thing here. Is it the same clip? Same clip again. And this one here. This is, I think, the same thing, right? Yeah, it is. Again, maybe a bit longer at the front. I can't recall. Same thing again. Evan! Yeah, okay. So you say here, I'm working on more redesigns to put down there as well. Would you recommend shortening the clips a bit and adding one more to the reel? So there's more going on in the full clips. I mean, okay, so I don't know that I can tell you like that's the way forwards as a blanket rule. Because bear in mind, if you shorten clips more, then you risk the main reel getting to like kind of yanking you around to like look at that, look at that, look at that a bit too aggressively. It's possible. It might be fine. But just bear in mind if you do add more things, that is a risk. So you could do that. And then I guess the question is, well, what are they gaining by watching this? If we have this redesign minus the last 5 seconds, the last 5 seconds are kind of the same as the beginning bits. It's like some Foley and some gunshots and some ambience, right? Like it's not like we have a story where, you know, character starts here, a fight happens, they end up there, like A, B, and C. It's not that you're cutting off C. It's like A, B, A almost, right? So you're showing more A. So the reason people want to watch something supplementary is to learn more. So if you have more that will actually like deliver more information, right? If it's different things you've designed later in the clip that sound pretty cool and you're happy to share, then totally. If it's more the same, then it's not really adding anything, and it might not even be worth having in your reel or in your portfolio. If you have it there in a portfolio, yeah, you might have like a portfolio page here, for instance, and then you have these various things. You can have Hunt Showdown, and then there, it could be the same thing. It's possible, but then at least have like some information in a little text paragraph. You know, I went to a museum and borrowed a gun and recorded the real thing for this redesign. Like having that kind of information can, again, it's supplementary. You've told them a little bit of something in the demo reel. Here's a clip I did. I like the game, assumably. It sounds pretty cool, hopefully. And that's that. And then when they go somewhere else, they can learn more. If they're not learning more, there's no reason for it to exist. You're wasting their time, right? You're wasting your time too. Think of the time. I mean, again, we were saying again and again that studios have like hundreds of candidates for a given role. So if you have hundreds of people to look through, it is exhausting as a recruiter, as someone who's going through those resumes and demo reels and stuff, right? So if you have, let's say, 10 to 30 seconds total and you've wasted 15 of those 30 seconds on something they already saw, that might be a death sentence for you, you know? It's dangerous. I'm not saying it is, definitely, but it is a massive risk to take, and it's not just a risk, it's a squandering of a different opportunity you could have taken, you know? All right. Okay, so then let's see. And yeah, Sam's saying having extra clips ready to edit in makes it easier to find smart transitions. Yeah, I mean it's possible certainly to look for a good place for a transition with the pieces you've done just already, but in general, I mean, this is a pretty hard and fast rule. The demo reels that I've seen for which the transitions are really strong, and it's obvious they were making deliberate choices as far as where to edit things in, those reels are such because they chose those clips for the demo reel. It's not because they just happened to choose these two clips that had the guy doing this both times from the exact same angle. Guaranteed this person sought those clips out and put them together for the demo reel. I would be shocked if that wasn't the case. All right. Josh says, for material selection, I was hoping to see some in-engine stuff too. Yeah, absolutely. We're coming back around to that. So thank you, Josh, for bringing us back on the rails here. We have these redesigns. They're all linear. You know, it says orbital drop redesign. You're describing the thing you've redesigned. That's probably not super necessary from a presentation standpoint to say what the thing is. Like, we know what we're watching. It's fine. You could say like gameplay or cinematic redesign, maybe, if you have two of those different things, just to show you're doing two different approaches. But there is nothing here that is implemented. It's all linear, and that is again something that it will absolutely separate you from people who have, content they have done the implementation for. You have sound design and editing and voice acting, but other sound, is there implementation here at all? No. On your resume, does it say Wise, F1, etc.? It says Wise right there. So you are claiming Wise, but you're not demonstrating Wise, and that's an issue. I think that most people, even if it doesn't say like you need Wise in the job description, it's certainly something that I would recommend putting time into next. Clockwork GM says, I don't have any implementation to show yet. That's something I'm actively working on. Then great. Yeah, when you have it, then awesome. Just keep cranking. That's the thing. It's like if you were to apply for a gig and they're like, hey, where's your Wise stuff? And you're like, I'm still working. And then next time you apply, you have Wise stuff. Looks awesome. It's obviously you've been working in the interim, right? It's great. I do want to glance at these things. We have live broadcasting.
We've left home, and
Whoa.
It's time to check in again with the broadcast crew.
Well, yes, indeed, Maxine. We have left home, but we're not far from home.
Not very far at all, about 15...
Okay, I've worked in radio for a number of years, and I have countless hours of experience speaking live. So what is this clip? Are you speaking live?
minutes away, actually. We're over at the Ella Sharp Park and Museum.
And it's
I was reading. Did she say Evan? Maybe she did.
time to check in again with the broadcast crew.
Well, yes, indeed, Maxine. We have left home, but we're not far from home.
Not very far at all, about 15 minutes away, actually. We're over at the Ella Sharp Park and
Is that you
Museum
speaking, Evan?
For their special Christmas celebration.
I know, Christmas at Hillside. You know, Evan, I'm Chris, by the way, from Morning.
There's Evan. All right. So that was Evan. Okay, we had to go again 20 seconds in to know what I was listening to. So maybe this could be a little clearer. Like, you're saying this kind of generally. Like, I have experience speaking live. This is not saying this is you speaking live. This text should probably describe this thing. And in describing this thing, it can include things like, I have experience speaking live, like that kind of thing, right? But I'm looking here to contextualize what this is. And I was confused until like 25 seconds. And I have you here telling me what I'm listening to, right? Every person you apply to, every company you apply to does not have the luxury of having you over their shoulder to explain things, of course. So try to be aware of that. No period at the end. Be aware of that little typo. Long form radio shows. Okay, an hour.
String quartets were refined into what they are today in 1750 by Joseph Haydn. but chamber music has been around for even longer than that. The Renaissance, Baroque, Classical, and Contemporary eras have all had stages set for chamber music in one form or another.
Got it. Corporate videos. I've done work creating voiceovers for company training videos, movies, and video games. This is an example of a training video I created for an engineering firm.
This training session covers the basics of dust and dust collection.
Riveting. Yeah, I've done some commercial stuff too in the past. It's pretty dry, but good experience. Animations and games. Okay. Sound designer and engineer. So like this, if it's games, also, this should be on its own thing, because games are your focus now. At least that's what the main page is saying. Oh, no period here too. Okay, so again, this is not contextualizing this. What is this? When you have this page is the closest thing you have to a portfolio page right now, right? Like you have your various things you've done with information on the things you have done. And again, it's supplementary. The goal is to describe the work you've done and demonstrate the things that you did the work for, right? That's the idea. So with this, we have no titling. I don't know the name of this thing or what this is or what you did. It says you have been a sound designer engineer. So did you do the mixing? Did you do the music? Did you do the sound design? Like we need. Also, how long is this video? This is unfortunately, I suspect most people would bounce off this because they're like, I don't know what this is, so I'm not learning anything. Therefore, I'm going to go elsewhere. You know, it's just that's the truth of it for sure. And finally, voice acting. My voice is deep. My voice is deep and resonant, but I have a wide range that I can add to your production. Okay.
No one comes.
Whoa, that's okay. That is loud. I'm turning it down. Loud, Evan. Turning it down to like 30 on Chrome. Let's go.
In, no one goes out. I need your word on this.
Ah, jeez, those dorks are at it again.
Jeez, that is. I think it's clipping, Evan. That is pretty loud. And this kind of thing, distortion-wise, A, it kind of discourages me from wanting to listen to it because it's so loud. But B, it's also unfortunately suggesting that this is what sounds good to your ears, you know? And if other people say, well, this sounds like it's distorting to me, then that might be a small or large red flag, depending upon the person. So be aware. Is like the whole way through?
The quasi-multiverse.
Yeah, it's totally clipping. It's just a hard limiter or something.
Style and charisma. What are you talking about? I've got...
Yeah. And unfortunately, we're not even like talking about your voice acting right now, right? We're just talking about the quality of the audio. So it's, yeah, I would, if you have access to those files, I would go back in there and back off the compressor or limiter or whatever, just a hair. Or it's even possible that, is it in mono?
Mad style. And I love charisma. The quasi...
I think it's mono. It's possible it got summed to mono and like ended up peaking as a result. I've had that happen before. It sounds like it's more than just plus 3 dB though, but I don't know. Be aware. That's a dangerous game you're playing there. Okay, let's talk about content a little bit before we hit 1 p.m. So, cute intro, very fun. So this here, I kind of began saying that the back half is unchanging. I mean, there are ways you can change it, you know? Turn up a little bit here. There we go. Yeah, so something that long. I'm curious what the original sounds like, actually. So I imagine there's probably a... There is probably some amount of change happening over time, like kind of thing, like it's EQ peaks moving or whatever, right? Like something. So it's not just straight through the whole thing with the same amplitude, same frequency, focus, all that stuff. And yeah, I've seen this clip designed a couple times. I want to know what the original sounds like because I've heard the birds tweeting thing at the top a couple times. like we have this, there's like no motion. It's slow motion on the character too, you know? And then back to speed again. So this slow motion thing, it feels weird to me. But maybe the original has this. I don't know. It's kind of it's a tricky piece to design because it's so blank slate, you know? Because where are those birds right now? They sound like they're right in front of us. And we have the birds are like in the sky next to us, you know? They're right in the middle. And we have distant sirens. We have this kind of mismatch of distant sirens and near field birds, but we don't see the birds, and it's right in the middle, I think. Is it panned? It's a little stereo, I guess. But yeah, I think that might be it. It's so crisp on the birds. You know? Yeah, it's a tricky thing to design. I don't even know what I would choose for sure on that clip. It would take some shower thoughts for sure. Let's see. Vittoria says, I agree. Missed some low whooshes to denote the slow-mo. Yeah, I feel like there's something missing here to tell us that slow motion is happening. There's something. And then whoosh, back to full speed again, right? And this stuff here, I like the intro. It's cool. Cool. We still have, see, here's a mixed thing though. We still hear the sirens and stuff through this whole, there's still like brakes squealing and sirens in the distance and so forth, but that's not what this is about. We have this pause at the top, and if we're to believe this pause is to be like, oh, how beautiful the surrounding environment, the cityscape, audible, etc., but then we still hear it through the fall, that kind of weakens this moment being about ambience, you know? So we hear it the whole time. Anyways, who cares? Okay, let's see here. So Josh says, I think a lot could be done with the environment here to really sell the movement, though not at all easy. Yeah, it's hard. I think the focus stays in the rocket hands for too long. Yeah, it might be fun when the character goes down, something is rising to make it more intense, to get closer to the ground. Yes, totally. I can imagine, I can imagine seeing a redesign of this where they throw in some non-diegetic stuff, like some cinematic risers or whatever, to match the length of the fall. It's possible. Let's see, and some focus on flying next to the buildings, like in the car with the window open next to a wall effect. Yeah, totally. Just trying to, because again, this is not at all an easy piece to design. Again, Evan, it's tough. So you're faced with like mapping out the full flight, top to bottom, and what are the beats that we hit, and try to sell those in audio. But right now, it's kind of the same through the whole thing, you know. I was increasing city ambience when he was getting closer, but that must not have come through. Yeah, I mean, it's tough because you can't like crank the ambience to make it the focus. Ambience is just it's rarely the focus unless there's nothing else happening in the soundscape, right? In which case, the absence of other action-y things just inherently makes the ambience the focus. But it's not because the ambience is big. Usually, it can be like you're in a factory or something. But in this case, it is not big at all. So just turning it up in the mix to a place where it makes sense is still going to get drowned out by the which is mostly what's happening, except for the sirens, which we're hearing because sirens are designed to be heard through a din. Moving on. There's a bit of at the very end there. It's cool. So that's a good approach. This camera change, I would cut right there. I would cut the, and now camera change, because now we're in this perspective, and we can have a as a like an incoming and impact. It would really help. I mean, that's what they're doing with the visuals of it, right? Like cinematography, we have this cut, and now we have them flying in from above, but we don't hear that. We still hear it as if we're watching from behind the character, you know? Yeah. You have that space for that. Moving on. Cool. I think the final growl doesn't feel as localized on the character or organic or like dimensionally accurate, spatially accurate compared to the rest of the roar. This feels pretty good. Like this. Right? I believe that. I believe that's coming from the dragon. Sounds cool. And then this last part is really near field, and we have like the EQ curve on stuff can help spatialize things in a similar way. And if you have if it's too crisp in the highs and too present in the lows, you tend to have a lot of it comes across as near field, right? You have a lot of like definition to the sound. The nearer you are to a sound, the more definition it has in general. You get less of it kind of bouncing off the walls, less of it is blurred out by the space it's in. So with this, that's kind of what we're getting in the first half. And that last bit, it sounds, if it's a burp, sure, it might be a burp, whatever it is. Settle down, chat. Whatever the thing is, the vocalization is, it's louder than the roar was, right? It was like, and then like right at the front of the. This roar is so big, and then that's crazy loud compared to everything else. So yeah. Josh says, what are your thoughts on redesigning older games, Kevin? I think the idea of doing a much older game and trying to make it feel like something from that era is a really interesting sound design exercise. Yeah, totally. Like a Heretic or a Hexen or a Quake or whatever. How do you feel about old clip modern sound design? I mean, sure, it can work. I mean, it's just all you're talking about there is audio direction. And if you're doing a redesign and the whole thing is fitting in the box you define for yourself, then whatever. It's a matter of, I'm sure there are ways you could go so far with it that it becomes less of an exercise in exploring what is possible and more of an exercise in like memes, right? I mean, if you redesign Control all 8-bit, that could be cool, but it'll probably come across as like a jokey thing you made, you know? So it's just be aware that there are certain expectations of conventions and so forth, and that the further you drift from what a person might expect, the larger a risk you take that they'll be like, oh, that's not what I expected at all, and they'll have an adverse reaction to it. But it's possible. They'll be like, that is cool. I didn't expect that, and that's fucking awesome. It's possible, right? It's possible. Just not a guarantee. Just be aware. Yeah, full circle on Cube. Josh is like, what do you think about Cube, Kevin? Do you have any thoughts on Cube? It's 1 o'clock. I want to roll on here. Oh, I heard a pop here, Evan. Be aware. Right there, at the end of the slowdown. Yeah, be aware. Fade your regions. I heard that. It's a bad one because it's it's for sure on that region. It's all bass. So it's like at the end of it. Yeah, I have more thoughts here, but I do want to get to Jean Alexander. The main thing is like mix focus stuff. Just see what's at the front of the mix. What's the most important part of the story? Bring that to the front. And be aware of EQ stuff. If you have a, just make sure that that moment is also being colored by other areas of the frequency spectrum, because you don't know the system that they're listening to the game on. It could be some crap, earbuds for all you know that have no bass whatsoever, and in that case, they will hear nothing. In the case of a, right, they'll hear nothing at all. Yeah, be aware. And finally, I don't really need to talk about this too much. It's fine. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Evan, distinction. Are you setting out in some positive way? I think you have some great foundation work here. You're obviously, as you said, really involved in sound things in general. There's no mistaking that. But as you're saying, you're working on wise stuff. I think that's definitely a good move. Get some implementation stuff in here. I think that's probably the biggest thing, is that there's a bit of a lack of focus design-wise, like overall design-wise and kind of branding-wise and stuff. That could be a big help. And that's, as I was saying, like standing out. Well, things stand out because they have very clear and concise and strong identities and directions. And if you stray too bland or too wild, it can be, kind of miss the mark a bit. So I would worry that you might blend into the background because of that. as far as your design goes, yeah, it's like it's on the way. There's a lot of some really strong stuff in there, and there's some stuff that we talked about that's, you have some room for improvement. And like I was saying, when you apply to a place again and have like a lot more things done and so forth, it'll be obvious you're hustling and it'll come across very positively. So good stuff. Nice work. Let's go on to Jean-Alexander Nevskiy, the game audio specialist, as it says in the title bar. Game audio specialist. About, I'll zoom in a hair. Whoa. The face does not zoom. He looks at us, I'm not a man who zooms. Hell no. About showreels, music, projects, contact. Okay. This is a vertical page. The demo reel is not right here. It is. We gotta go find it. It's here somewhere. The about. We're going past about now. Okay. Hi everyone, and welcome to my website. I'm a composer / sound designer, and I make full stack audio for computer games and animation movies. If you are struggling with the sound side of your game, I'm here to help. The pitch, the sales pitch. I can take care of the whole audio production process, including composition, mixing, sound design, and audio integration. On this website, you can take a look at my portfolio and projects I've done before. If you like my works or have some questions, do not hesitate to drop me a message. It's a very serious, creative face. You're making stuff. Don't bother me. All right, moving on. Here's the reel. So we had to scroll a little bit to find it. It's a little bit dangerous, but it is pretty easy to find. So not too bad. Maybe a few seconds wasted. I gotta say, looking through as many demos as we got, many websites as we got, I love having the play button right here. It is nice. It's a nice little courtesy to the people going through your stuff. But not the end of the world to scroll a little bit. We have game music. We have Cold Age, Unity C# Fmod audio system. Okay. Also music, Epic Battle Music, Ambient, Main Menu Music. Projects Gwent? Oh, you worked on Gwent. Sweet. I made sound effects for the Gwent premium cards. There it is. Cool. Is this your page? It is your page. Good. I was worried this was like a general trailer, which is always a bad move. Metroplex 0. For this game, Unity Fmod, music, sound effects. And here's the scene page. Cool. And Coldage. Is it Cold Age? Coldage. Heroes to Victory or Lose. Future Protectors. A future in the making. What is this name? Roosterlandia. Okay, Unity Fmod music. Okay, well, moving on again. We have Tap Top. For this 2 games, I did. These 2 games. Music, sound effects, space missing here compared to here. Small change. And here's some stuff. We got Cold Age. Okay, full stack audio. Yeah, Josh, I was going to say the same thing full stack wise. I have heard full stack used in like a variety of ways. And I maybe audio before. I'm not sure. Not entirely sure. Ascended Realms. We did some music, and lowercase I, just small little things here or there, and no punctuation. But you have punctuation elsewhere. I guess not. You kind of do. You have a colon at least. We have Contact. There you are. Not quite as serious as the top images. Shows you're an approachable fellow as well. Good. So, yeah, it's a little bit challenging to look at, but not too bad. You have the background, gray, white, gray, white, gray, white. It's not too bad. Projects. Pops down. Yeah. All right. Well, let's watch the top show reel, I guess, yeah? Hello? Full volume, full screen, sidechain off. Let's go. Is there sound there? Yes. cool. Oh. I have to press the button for applause. A full depression. Weird intro, though. What happened here? It's like a of some kind, right? Am I crazy? I don't think I'm crazy. 1 second. I'm gonna record this in. Can I do this here? Yeah, check it out. So I was totally right. My ears do not deceive me. I'm gonna isolate it right now. I'm gonna turn it way up. Here we go. I'm turning it up like, how much? 15 dB. Right? More? 21? What is that? It's something weird. I don't know. I'm not sure what that is. But I don't think it's part of this clip. It seems like it's not related to it. But I don't know. Be aware. It is in there. It's like some interference or something on your mic. I don't know. Okay, so let's talk about presentation stuff. It is 58 seconds. Not quite 10x, but I can live with it. Pretty cool. We have... yeah, so this here... I left my mouse on the volume button by accident, sorry, or down here somewhere, and it wasn't going away. So be aware that it does get obscured a bit by stuff. I didn't even see the titling for a while. I think I saw it the first time, maybe around here, like the next clip, and then when it changed to here, I then realized there was text in the top corner. So be aware that this is very easy to miss up here. I think this should definitely be where they always are, lower third. There's nothing to be gained by reinventing the wheel. I think the titling being here, it just becomes something that is natural and the person doesn't even think about it. They just read it and go, cool, got it. But now we're talking about the titling. You know, like it's just, this isn't what you came here to first talk about, you know, but we're talking about the titling. Also, CD Projekt has a K, not a C. It's project with a K. I think it's spelled the same way the whole way through, right? Yeah. So this is a very CD Projekt Red redesign reel. This is all the same studio. So realize, we'll get into, I guess, material selection now. I'll hold up. I'll come back to that in a second. So from the main page, Natasha says, I thought you worked on Gwent until I saw a redesign, and yeah, I only realized at the top end of that clip. Okay, so you didn't work on... I was curious, is this actually a redesign, or did you do it? Did you do it and then not show us the ones you did, or something? It's the same clip? Okay, Arch Spore Plant. What's this video? Well, this is completely different. Sound Design 4. Did you do it? Let's see here. Does it say on here? This is, oh, spelled C here again. For the Gwent premium cards. Yeah, all content made by and belongs to. So you did do this. Then why isn't this in your reel, John Alexander? This should 100% be in your reel. If credits are so much more valuable than redesigns. So much more. Because now we're all confused, and we think that the presence of this redesign like invalidates the actual work you did for the project, for the CD Projekt Red. This is dangerous. Imagine you weren't in the chat right now. Explaining these things, you know? Oh, Josh says, could have said you're keeping your cards close to the chest. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you, Josh. Yeah, that needs to be in your reel, John Alexander. It's got to be. It has to be. And then down here we have some more things. We have this music. Okay, and trailer.
Metagenics is proudly enhancing the health of our benefactors. Metroplex Zero. Discover the dark truth and fight for a better...
Okay. Oh, here's some sound effects. Here we go. I was looking for sounds there. What we got? Okay, cool. I'm curious though. Oh, I don't know. I really feel like... Okay, so I made a redesign reel. I got a gig at Gwent, and then I got this short clip released. Okay, so like the short Gwent clip you released. Yeah, so this, I would heavily recommend you go back to your show reel. Well, you don't need to have a sound redesign reel. You can just have a game audio reel, and then you just say sound redesign, but say it down here. You just say it's a redesign versus not a redesign. However, I might not put, well, I don't know. It's tricky. As long as your titling is clear, no one can fault you for it. Like what Natasha is saying. If you have, this is something you did, and then the next one says sound redesign, there's a possibility someone might think you made a mistake, because I've literally never seen a credit and redesign of the same project in the same reel. I think that's pretty damn unusual. So there is a possibility of it being misinterpreted because it's just so rare or so uncommon. But that is easily solved by them giving you an interview and saying, "Hey, do you work on Gwent?" And you say, "Yes." And also did a redesign. I like both the work. I love doing the works on both those things, so I put them both in the reel. I'm proud of the work. You know, conversation over. Easy. That's cool though. Like, this stuff's good. Let's have to listen to this. I liked what I heard. So scary. So fun. Yeah, great. Super cool. Okay, back to the reel. So this reel, like you claim to have all these skills, John Alexander, that you're not showing here. This is only sound redesign reel. So this is your sound redesign reel. Down here is game music. We'll skip that one. Fmod audio system. This one's 6 minutes long. Okay. So I feel like there's a step being missed here because this is a long video to ask someone to go into when they've seen nothing so far. I think what I would recommend, or suggest at least, is putting the things you have done as credits in your reel as like hey, it's on Steam. Because it shows you've been doing stuff. And that goes a long way compared to a lot of people out there who've only done redesigns, right? And bear in mind, this might be all they look at is your redesign. Mind you, it's strong work, so they might go down farther and then be like, "Oh, but he's worked on stuff actually, so not bad." But if you put Cold Age in here as a hey, I did the Fmod and it's in Unity, C#, etc., and is it your project? Is that what it is? I don't recall. This game you did, but is it your game or is it like a thing you worked on? Darkest Dungeon, what's up? Cool. I'm still not sure by clicking this link if this is you or you and a buddy or you as a contractor or what. So who knows? But if you had it in a video with titling on it, I wouldn't be wondering, right? I'd be like, "Oh, cool, you did this thing." Because the presence of redesigns like Witcher 3 or whatever, this makes it very clear the kind of work you want to be doing. But having Cold Age, having other projects in your reel, that shows you're hustling and you're making stuff on your own and you're working with teams, collaborating, etc. That also is a huge plus. It's very big, even if the games don't necessarily resemble the kind of things you want to work on one day. That's why you have redesigns. So it's okay. That's fine. You can do both things and communicate all those things effectively. So you have Cold Age, Fmod. You could have here Unity, C#, Fmod, Design, whatever. Have all that. You don't need to explain the Unity audio system in short words on the demo reel. Just say you did it and have a clip from the game that's 12 seconds long or whatever. Just have a clip and just say you did it. Because the thing is, if that text there just represents a call to action, someone will read that and be like, oh, Unity, C#, no way. Fmod audio, no way. I want to learn more. And they'll do the thing we were talking about with Evan's reel, which unfortunately I couldn't do with Evan's reel because it's like you have a call to action to see more things, and then if I want to see more things, I'll watch the thing. In that case, I don't mind the length because at this point I'm already watching it for a reason. I'm not clicking it being like, oh, what's this? And starting to learn. I've already learned something. I've learned it's Unity, C# Fmod, and that already has me interested. And now when I click this, I'm going into it in a positive headspace because I want to watch it already. I'm not like learning what it is and going like, I guess we'll see what this is. I don't know. It is just what I was talking about. It is supplementary materials. So you're saying, want to know more? Well, here's more. There you go. Here it is. Let's glance.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this
And you're talking to us too. Look at your smiling face.
video. Here I'm gonna show you my project Cold Age and explain how Fmod works with Unity C# in that case. This project is still in development, but you can play the demo on Steam. I put a link here for your convenience. So let's take a look what this game is about. This is a strategy game in the form of a comic book builder. You have a group of characters and you need to lead them through different locations. And also you need to keep the good level of health and sanity among them.
Sanity.
So you have
Darkest dungeon.
events that appear on locations that you can investigate or simply skip. Then you go to a downtime event to heal wounds and rest. And then you go investigate everything all over again. So at some point you will meet some
Cool.
monsters that you need to fight. And you need to go back to heal wounds. So that's it. Here we have two audio layers that are constantly playing throughout the game. Music and
Okay, I trust you. I want to see this though. Here.
control room ambience on the background. The same goes for campfire ambience.
Oh, it's like an index.
The same
Yeah, sure.
goes for the battle. And the same goes for two cutscenes that we currently have in the game.
All right, quick pause for Design Sonoro. Designs on Oro. Hi, hey, I'm new here. What if the person has done a lot of SFX for movies? Would it be acceptable to add to the game audio reel? Well, I mean, acceptable, sure. No one will reject you for doing so. But the thing is, it's again, this stream is not so much about like the way to get the job. It's about increasing your chances of getting the job. And the way you increase your chances is by having as many pluses as possible. And one of those pluses does this person seem like they're invested in games? Does it seem like they are invested in the kind of games that we make? Like, do they want to make sci-fi games, right? Or a sci-fi game studio? And if you have some stuff from Tron and Iron Man and stuff in your reel, then that might come across as like, oh, they could probably fit in here. Maybe, I'm not sure. But realize you might be up against, or probably will be up against in all likelihood, people who have the same level of design and talent you have, but have all their content focused in sci-fi games. So even though you might be equally talented from a just strictly sound design perspective, they'll probably win out because they're just communicating that they like the games more than film or whatever, right? And whereas if you have film and games separately, it might come across like you're not as sure what you want to be doing. Maybe you are just taking what you can get. Maybe you are just waiting for a film gig to come along. You want to work in film instead. There's a lot of assumptions that can be made if you have non-game content in your reel. So not a death sentence, but this doesn't really help you. That's all. Yeah, be aware. Okay, so there it is. So, cool. Yeah, definitely. I'm all for put a clip from this thing in here. Just say what you did and invite people to learn more by clicking the longer form video. Because it seems like you're pretty well spoken and you have some cool things to share. And I expect that some people would love seeing this stuff behind the scenes. Absolutely. And if they don't want to see it, they won't click it. Who cares? It's only here for the people that want to learn something, right? And that's what our good friend Josh Adam Bell taught us years ago. Just have things for people to click if they want to click them. I haven't watched all these videos. Who has time for all these videos? There's too many videos, right? No one can watch all these things. But if you love caves in UE4 and Fmod, you can watch the cave in UE4 and Fmod video, and you're good to go. And you have Josh walking you through that stuff naturally. Just have it for them if they want to see it. You just increase your odds as much as possible, and then you get the job. Then you get the job the week after Real Talk. Okay, so I think that's it for the time being. Let's talk about some sound design stuff. We have 5 minutes left. Let's talk about some sound design stuff on the redesign work. Yeah, immediately great. I mean, you have this intro. I feel like I've moved to a new place. The 2 different whooshes is nice. To show different like, different factions, different sides to like the opponents. Yeah, cool. The one thing I'll say is this transition here. It's like this is a new clip, right? We go from Gwent to Witch of the Wild Hunt, but it sounds like it's the same ambience, which is interesting. I mean, doesn't it? For a second, I wasn't sure if the clip changed. Like if it was the same game, and we're like coming out of the Gwent match into the world or something. You know? So this was a little bit jarring to me because it didn't change, but the clip did. You know? Small thing. I don't love the voiceover work you did here. It's a little bit cheesy, but otherwise, like, it's like pretty strong design, man. You have some more room for some Foley, probably. These big spins and stuff before the swing. I'm nitpicking, but like the swings, we're kind of missing them a little bit. We have impacts. Your impact work is great. You have like some really good moments of like the transient's great into the body, into the tail. You're obviously putting some thought into that stuff a lot. It happens like throughout your whole demo. There's a lot of impact work. I think like the lead up into the impact, the precursor work before the impact could use some more love too, right? Like these various swings. All these swings. You know, if we swing and don't make impact, it's just as important to have that moment colored, right? Like we have that, we have these swings with no ka-ting, right? No impact. So we still know the swing happened. It's just as important. Here also, I did realize you had these great little like warp around sounds, and then we don't have a warp around sound on the fade out, and we probably should just quieter as it cross fades out, right? Right here, right? Yeah, so one thing, Josh, I see you saying something that's probably in line with what I'm saying here. I'll just read yours. I'd say some things are a bit too broadband and noisy more tonal content could really help the whole thing feel more dynamic, especially in the more magic-y moments. But overall, strong. Yeah, it's as you watch through more, the impact work it's fun and it's like big and bombastic and stuff. But they're all big, you know? Like really wide and stuff. I do like the width on your stuff you're designing. Like there, for instance, it got so big, right? Even like left side, coming down. Even though we moved to the left. It's still coming from the left. So yeah, there's probably something to be said for taking a slightly more measured approach to some of your design, and like Josh is saying, perhaps reduce some of the like really broadband across the whole frequency range, and pull in some narrowed frequencies for some tonality and some like frequency focus that helps give more character to different things happening, so you can kind of follow along even if you can't see what's happening. Perhaps something happens behind you and you know what it is from the sound of it. Not just like it's not just some nondescript big blasty impact. It's like ping or something like that. And you know what that ting, that frequency means, or what that came from. Here is very similar, right? You just have that big thing. But you had some little defining moments in here. Really nice. Like this little... It's cool. That one stands out, you know? Because of that little thing doing that, as opposed to something nondescript. And also not just frequency focus, but you probably pull back like some volume stuff and some panorama stuff too. So not always like big ass wide impact. You can pull it in, so like it's not just full left right. You can have it where, I know, of course, these are linear redesigns, but if you're an engine, you can have a stereo sound that is very wide in the source file, but you just pull in the sides. So you have, you have your full panorama, but you have a smaller stereo width, a narrower stereo width, which basically is panned around in the full panorama you're working with. And maybe even you're close to it and it becomes wider. You have like envelopment stuff too. So you can do a lot of dynamic work on stereo sounds to kind of keep them feeling a bit wider, a bit more rich, because it can seem kind of unnatural when you have something that has a lot of like reverb, like or like delay stuff, and it's coming from like there specifically and not from kind of this like spread in front of you. So I do recommend having some spread on things, but like full spread on everything is you risk being A, exhausting, and B, confusing to the player if too many things are like overlapping, and it just ends up being kind of noisy, right? Can't latch on to one thing at a time. So overall though, like Josh said, like pretty strong, man. Like honestly, there's some good stuff in here. There's a great foundation. Like over designing is almost a better thing than under designing. You know, there's some things you're missing, but on the whole, it's like it just gotta reel some things and add a few more things to get those details in. I think that as well, if you pull back some of those big impacts, it may reveal some of the spaces left behind, like in some of that Foley and stuff, where you could add some more detail work in. There you go. Okay. Treating it as if there were some middleware doing all the panning really improves gameplay redesigns for me personally. Yeah, totally. Like you kind of think about what is actually happening under the hood for this thing I'm designing right now, and try to match the panorama, like the panning curves to suit and stuff. It's challenging, but it definitely comes across better, and it if it's done skillfully enough, it will definitely come across to an apt listener, someone who's watching for that kind of thing. Yeah. Okay, so thanks a lot, man. I think that this is definitely standing out. I mean, you've got some great work in here. The fact that you have this C# and Fmod background and stuff, I mean, you have some great skills that you can bring to the table. I think just being a little clearer in your presentation and communication of what you do have and what you have done, and not just clearer, but sooner. You have a clear communication of your work and your skill sets and so forth in your demo reel right away. So after 1 minute, someone has a pretty damn good idea of kind of the greatest hits of Jean-Alexander Nevskiy. Yes? And then once they are interested, which they probably will be, strong work, then they can click through and see some more things that you have a lot of information on. It's great. You have all these things to look at. And there's not too much at all. It's like nailed down to the stuff that people would probably want to know about you. So that's great. So really nice. Nice work. Cheers. Spasiba. Okay. Shall we get back to Osmos? Yeah. Yes, definitely. Okay, thank you all. If you want to... oh, wait, 1 second first. Louis, I only have implementation examples for my reel. Should I be including linear examples? Good, man, only implementation is fine. It's, I think that it can be a nice addition to have a linear redesign as you have complete control over the entire soundscape, the entire timeline. There's no considerations for like technical stuff or spatialization or whatever. I think having no linear at all might just having the opportunity to like really flex as much as you can would be really cool. However, like Josh is saying, if you're looking to focus on the technical side, I mean, we have seen reels like I'm trying to think, like Aaron Sendan, for instance. Is that a name? I think that was someone who had like fully technical everything. Real. Yeah, Aaron's sick, man. This is Aaron's stuff about main reel. Here's Aaron making it happen. 1 second, Osmos.
What you're about to see is footage from the trailers for a game called Session. But what you're about to hear is how I would go about integrating audio for the game if I were working on it. To clarify, these trailers have been imported into a game engine, Unreal Engine 4, and I've rebuilt the core audio systems for the game from the ground up. Whenever you see a trick in the video, there is logic behind the scenes controlling when, where, and what audio should be played.
Like, how much do you all want to see the rest of this video right now? This is crazy. Look at this background. Aaron knows what's up. I'm not going to play it, though. I'll give you the link in the chat, and you can go watch it yourself. I got to go. I got to run. I got meetings to get to and stuff. But if you all want to, if anyone out there wants to submit their own work for Real Talk, you can feel free to do so below at Power Up Audio or at ReggameK or at our inquiry form at powerupaudio.com. I'll be happy to schedule you in. I'm behind on a few because I have a freaking wedding on Sunday. I'm already married, but we're finally having the party, so we're doing that. It's been very time consuming and stuff, so I'll catch up on Real Talk stuff soon enough. And I'll look forward to seeing you all in 2 weeks. Yes, Osmos, let's go. All right, thanks everyone. We'll see you next time. Cheers.